going into the 2018 games, and I was sitting by the pool with one of my best friends, Connor Esrick, and he said something I'll never forget. He says, "Victory lies within preparation." And I stuck to that mantra as if it was my guiding North Star. In any situation and decision that came to me, it was like, "Oh, Alex, do you want to go do this?" And my answer in my head would be, "Is that going to help me win the Olympics or not?" And if it was
Mm.
a yes, then I'm 100% going to do it. And if it was a no, then I'm 100% not going to do it. Ooh, that's good.
Yes, sir. Watching that back, a couple things I want to ask you just before we kind of kick into it. I saw you messaging something. You were saying something to yourself right before you actually took off. Is that routine? Was that something special? Do you remember what that was? I saw you were like some sort of messaging, which makes sense because I know you a little bit better. We'll get into that as well. But like, what are you saying to yourself before you kick off that run?
Yeah, everyone thinks I'm doing affirmations or praying or anything like that, and it's actually I'm just saying my run over and over and over again to myself, and that was the last time I was saying my run before doing it, and it just seems to be it seems to be helpful. I
And
don't
when
know.
you say saying your run, like we have the interpretation of like the this or the that. Like, what are you saying? Like, what does that mean
I'm
to you?
I'm literally saying, "Okay, I'm gonna drop in here, match the transition perfectly, switch right, double 1080, grab the Japan on the second flip, land high on that transition, no movement in between, carrying a lot of speed for the big left side double cork 1620 safety, little pop there, going in the right side double 1080 Japan, minor pop there, the switch left double 1080 Japan, lots of pop, and finishing with the right double 16 safety, no pop at all. And when I'm saying pop, I'm actually meaning jumping off the wall. Like, how hard am I extending my legs out to get away from the coping?
So it's like an actor. You're like you're saying your lines. Like you're going into like run it, and you're just saying the lines. You're like getting ready.
It's exactly that. And I've always found the more I can say it at the top, the better the result usually is. I like to
Okay.
say, don't get too far away from the pipe. Always stay close as possible. And I mean that literally and mentally because it's so intense up there. A lot of the time, people are trying to go away from this moment, right? But
Sure.
I have to stay in this moment.
Yeah. Immediately present.
Mm,
That makes a
mm.
ton of sense. Um, and then at the end, you know, are you like that was it? I nailed it. That's gold. Or you're just like, it felt pretty good. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It was maybe a little bit of a hybrid of that. I felt pretty
You
good.
knew you nailed it. It was perfect.
I thought for sure it would be hard for them not to put me in first place, and if they didn't, then at least I gave it a proper crack at everything, I gave it my all. So,
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, let's do a proper roll in and intro, and then we'll kind of get into it.
yeah,
But super excited to have you here.
I'm super
Um,
excited to be here. Thank you, Kyle.
Appreciate it, man. So, welcome to Run Rate. Our guest today is Alex Ferreira, Olympic gold medalist and one of the best freestyle skiers in the world. He's competed in multiple Olympic Games, earned medals on the world stage, and built a career performing in moments where everything comes down to a single run. Alex grew up in Aspen. That's where we met, skiing in his backyard. Today, we're going to get into what it actually takes to get to that level, from mindset, preparation to performing under pressure, and what comes next. So, Alex, great to see you. We met in Aspen. I was out there on a YPO ski trip. Um, and we had actually engaged with you to kind of be our guest speaker prior to you winning the gold. And so,
Yes.
from my perspective, love YPO, love what it offers. For those that don't know, YPO stands for Young Presidents Organization. So, have made some really good friends. Generally speaking, you run a business of a certain size, so you qualify, and then you join a certain chapter. I'm part of the New York Metro chapter. The great thing is we always have great events, and we bring in something extra. So that could be like a special VIP experience, or it could be a special speaker. So we had talked to and ultimately booked Alex before he won gold. And so by the time he won gold and then we showed up in Aspen, there was a ton of fanfare about sitting down and learning from you. And for me, I think, you know, the biggest takeaway that I had that got me really excited to bring you onto the pod was the less obvious side of it, the preparation, the manifestation, the visualization, your routine. These are things to me that all map back to business as well. I have we could compare our routines, right? But generally speaking, in the morning, I'm doing this to make sure I'm in a good place. And then I'm doing my, meditation to like set me, myself up for later in the day. And so digging into that and hearing more about that and that panel discussion that we had with you in Aspen got me excited. So I guess why don't we kick off with, for you, when you think about preparation and you think about the routine and you think about, you and I talked a little bit about your peer group growing up, and you grew up in Aspen, so it's probably obvious that at least half of you were skiing, right? Um, what stuck with me was something you said. You weren't even one of the best of, let's say, the 20 friends, right? You're middle of the pack at best.
Low pack.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how that started and kind of like, where it ends up is what gets you to where you've gotten, which is the pinnacle of your sport and the best of the best. And so would love to hear a little bit about that aspect of kind of you growing up middle of the pack and being able to get to where you got to.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really crazy. So my parents didn't know what to do with me because I always had crazy amounts of energy. So they signed me up for sports, all sports. My dad was a former professional soccer player. My mom was a marathon runner.
I
So
didn't
it was
know
in the
that. Okay,
genes.
so you do have sports in the genes for
Yeah,
sure.
certainly have athletics in the genes, and being living in Colorado, especially in Aspen, obviously in the wintertime, it snows a lot. So my parents naturally signed me up for the Aspen Valley Ski and Snowboard Club where I could expend energy at will. And I met all my best friends there. And at the time, the big trick was a 360. And we were young, maybe 8, 10 years old. And I go to the club this one day and everyone's doing these 360s. And one of the coaches comes up from the back and he says, "Okay, your parents are here. Training's over. Come down." And I go, "Let me just go up there one more time." And I hike back up there. I put my skis on. I go off this jump and I land this 360.
How
And
old, how old are you at this point?
about 10 years old. And I knew right then and there, 10 years old, I'm 100% doing this for the rest of my life.
And help me as a skiing novice. I learned to ski when I was 35. My wife was a ski instructor, so that was helpful. I'm pretty good now, actually. Like you saw, like I can keep
Oh,
up
yeah?
out there. Um, but a 360, that's a full flip.
It's actually just one revolution around, like a
So you're
twirl.
like, got it,
Yeah,
got it. So you're getting enough speed and height to be able to shift your body to do a 360 to land it
exactly. And I
at 10
landed
years
this
old.
yeah, and I landed this 360 and it was such a bonding moment with all of who are still my best friends to this day, and it was such a pinnacle moment for such a young child. It was the best feeling I've still ever felt to this day. It's almost like, you're chasing that next high when you're a drug addict or anything like that. I'm just always chasing that feeling of that first 360 that I landed. And
That's
and again,
amazing. It stuck with you.
I was slow to the party. Everyone else was maybe even a little bit younger than me, but they were doing 360s, 540s, 720s. They were good. And I just had to work twice as hard to get half as much, but I loved it. I think that was the main difference between me and the rest of the children at the club. It was, "Oh, I really love being here. I love being outside. I love flipping and twisting on my skis. I love exploring the mountain." And just this unbelievable natural. It was kismet. It was kismet. It was meant to be, I really believe.
It feels to me like you would love it if it's going well. I'm sure it doesn't always go well. Like when you're trying these, and we'll unpack your routine for like getting to the crazy tricks, which I was
Yeah,
fascinated by.
yeah.
But how are you not falling all the time and like breaking your leg, breaking your arm? Like, how do you stay safe doing these crazy tricks? Like, skiing is somewhat forgiving with the snow, but like not fully forgiving.
No, you're absolutely right. Most of the time when we're flipping and twisting, we are on pure ice. So it is bulletproof ice. It is the most unforgiving, as unforgiving as concrete, except for the fact that you might be sliding, right?
Right, right.
But yeah, so a lot of the time people are always asking me that. You're in such a risky sport. How were you even able to get to this point to do some of these crazy tricks? And when you're young, your whole body is made of rubber bands, so you're usually fine and you can get away with a lot. And then as you start to get older, you really need to rely on the training. So I'm relying on many, many training mechanisms, and not only the mechanisms themselves, but the consistency and the approach to those mechanisms every day on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, now decadely basis.
And you have in your history, you've broken a ton of bones and done a ton of damage, or what's been your health
I like
over
to
this
say
period
I'm
of
in the
time?
business of landing, so I've been in very fortunate positions. I have eaten shit, no question. I've
Yeah,
fallen very, very hard, but
yeah.
everything considered, I had a left broken clavicle, left broken thumb, and I had a frame done in the C4, C5, C5, C6. So
Okay.
I've been
Was that
very,
all
very.
one fall or that was multiple?
That was 3 different falls. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And there's so many things I want to unpack, but just on that, like the probably the mental recovery from the fall may be even harder than the physical recovery, right? Because you got to get back to the place where you're taking that risk and not worried to press it.
That's a fantastic question, absolutely. Most of the time, I was I always knew how to get back physically. We have the best doctors in the world. We work with the Stedman Clinic in Vail and now in Aspen, and I've been privy to a lot of amazing people who have helped me each time, but it was always something internal as well. Like I knew just on a subconscious basic level, okay, if I'm going to get better as fast as I possibly can, then I'm going to have to do everything, aka the hyperbaric chamber, the red light therapy, the hot tub, the steam room, the sauna, the everything really.
Yeah.
I just knew I hated being injured and I hate sitting and waiting around just like many other humans. So it was always, okay, how can I do this the fastest and the most efficiently? And most of the time, it was if I was healthy pre fall, I was able to get healthier faster.
Got it. Um, okay, so let's go back to 10. You do the 360. That's still like crowning moment. Like you remember that. Uh, from there to where you, how old are you now?
31.
You're 31. You just hit Olympic gold. So we're talking a 21-year span. Like, at what point did you decide this is something that I can be elite at, and I'm going to focus most of my time and effort against this, which is a big decision because you're giving off, putting off potential career, other things. Like you're putting a lot of time and effort and work into this. Like when did you make that full on commitment? And were your
Yeah,
parents supportive? Like was it a family discussion decision?
yeah, that's a great question. There were many multiple moments, but I would say two in particular. There was a competition in Mammoth, California, and it was a World Cup, and I was kind of on the cusp of starting to make finals at, the international level events. We call them platinum level events. It's the highest level of the event on the circuit. And my mom, I said, "Mom, I have a competition going on next week, and we need to buy these flights." And she goes, "Oh, honey, I didn't realize how expensive this was gonna be."
Mm,
And it wasn't a no. It was more like, "You can do whatever you wanna do. I love you. We've supported you every single step of the way, but you gotta figure out how to pay for these flights and make sure you get to all the training camps and, really go for it. And that was a turning point in my mind, like, "Oh, I'm not a young little boy anymore." I was 18 years old. Like, I'm not a full man yet either. I'm in this weird twilight zone, but I guess I'm a
Yeah.
man because I gotta figure this out right now. And that was a big one. That was a huge, huge one. The other one that was extremely important was going into the 2018 games. It was the summer of 2017, and I was sitting by the pool with one of my best friends, Connor Esrick, and he said something I'll never forget. He says, "Victory lies within preparation." And I stuck to that mantra as if it was my guiding North Star. I just remember thinking to myself, in any situation and decision that came to me, it was like, "Oh, Alex, do you wanna go do this?" And my answer in my head would be, "Is that gonna help me win the Olympics or not?" And if it was
Mm.
a yes, then I'm 100% gonna do it, and if it was a no, then I'm 100% not going to do it. So those 2 moments in particular were, "Okay, we're turning on the engines. We're not just firing them up. We're going all in. We're gonna melt the metal here. What are we
Mhm.
doing?" Like, this is a huge "can you do it" thing.
And are you focused 100% full time on this all throughout those years, or are you like working some job here and there? Like, what's the focus level from like a day to day perspective?
Early on, working tons of jobs. My dad was in the restaurant industry. I was working for him mainly as a back server. In the
Okay.
summer times, I was doing landscaping work. I was doing literally
Yes.
anything I could get my hands on in order to start paying for these flights, getting around. And somewhere in there, I realized, "Oh my god, all these other jobs are hard on my body. This sucks." I gotta make it so that I'm fully engaged in the sport by itself. And once I started doing well at a few events, I started making it my full-time thing, and then I started dedicating myself heavily to all the different training, not only in season, but out of season and all around.
See, that's where we vibe. That's where we connected. I did all the jobs growing up. I grew up in a small town. I did construction. I did landscaping. I worked at McDonald's. I did all of it. I just liked hustling. I liked making my own money. I liked being self sufficient, like early. My dad was an entrepreneur as well. So definitely connect with you on that. Um, and then later, at what point are you able to start getting like sponsorships that are paying for trips and paying for et cetera? Like, at what level do you need to be for that to be on the business side a real proposition?
Yeah, that's a great question. There is not a whole lot of money within the ski industry, especially within our niche of skiing, which is freestyle skiing, and then within that, there's half pipe skiing. So, freestyle skiing, you have sorry, it's actually really called free skiing. You have slopestyle, big air, half pipe. Within freestyle skiing, you have those 3 disciplines plus moguls and aerials, right? So you're trying to split the pie of what exists with a lot of different people, men and women. It's
Yeah.
very, very difficult.
And
But
who's telling you along the way? Like, you're a good skier, you decide to focus on it, you're like, "I can be elite," like, you got 10 different options. Who's telling you or how are you focused on Olympic freestyle? Like, you could have done one of the other tracks, or maybe you have done it in your past.
yeah, you're absolutely right. The main reason I would say is because of the trampoline. We
Okay,
had a trampoline at the ski club, and then we had a trampoline at our friend one of my best friends, Mikey Schumacher's house, and it was like the Bermuda Triangle. From my house to his house to the ski club, I was within walking distance of all of them every
okay.
single day. So, we got to love the trampoline, and then on top of that, we had X Games in our hometown of Aspen, Colorado. So, it was just this natural, "Oh my god, the best in the world are coming to compete in Aspen. We're jumping on the trampoline every day, having a blast. We're talking about free skiing every single day." It was live, eat, breathe. We had to go to school, but at school, we were talking about, Simon Dumont's new jacket or Tanner Hall's new skis, whatever it was. We were just heavily, heavily invested.
That's the other thing that I wanna break down that was fascinating to me. We all watched together the Olympic freestyle run, your Olympic run, gold medal run, but I mean, that's when you look at it on the surface, you're like, "That guy's insane. If he falls, he's gonna kill himself." But you were telling me you start with the idea, and I'll probably butcher this, but you can correct me. you then start on the trampoline, and then there's like the trampoline to the cushion to the pool to the snow to the half pipe. Like, can you just get us into like how you, I guess, first conceptualize the runs, and then how do you train through to get to a place where you're comfortable actually getting out on the half pipe, which, as you said, is super unforgiving.
Yeah, fantastic question. And okay, so there are a plethora of training mechanisms that we can now use being snow sports athletes that are flipping and twisting in the air, right? The main thing that we are trying to do is gain the kinesthetic air awareness, that knowledge of where you are in space, flipping and twisting with 40 pounds on your feet. You got skis, you got bindings, you got boots, you got your heavy, baggy ski clothes, you got your helmet, you got your gloves, your poles. There's a lot of inputs that go into skiing, right? So you need to make sure that you feel comfortable in the air with all these inputs. And then you're going to have tremendous amounts of pressure at an event. So, how do we succeed at this, right? It all starts with an idea. I saw somebody do a 360 with this grab, a mute grab, right? And then I would say, well, I think I can do it with Japan, or I think I can do it with tail. So I would do it a bunch of times on the trampoline, just seeing how my body feels. I don't have any skis on my feet, but I'm putting my arm as if there was a ski on my feet, right? So I'll start with the trampoline. From the trampoline, I'll usually move to a rollerblading set. So there is a ramp with a jump that goes into an airbag. I do that on my rollerblades however many times. Then there's another ramp in copper, but this one, instead of going onto an airbag, this one's into a foam pit. It's much bigger. I'll start doing that. Then we have what's called
When you say
water ramp.
start doing that, like, is that for one day, a week? Like, I want, because I know it takes a long time to like rep this to get good. Like, how long are each of those steps?
There's no limit
Whenever
to
you
what.
got it, you got it. You're like, I'm good.
Very rarely for me, at least. For other athletes, they get it the first try. But I would spend, I don't know, maybe a month and a half, or I would spend 1,000 tricks on the trampoline, 1,000 repetitions. Then I would move to the rollerblading and I would spend 100 or maybe even 500.
Okay.
Then I would move to what's called water ramps, and there's these giant plastic ramps you jump off of, and it's into a huge pool, right? I would probably spend about 20 to 40 there. Then I'd go over to an airbag setup, also another giant plastic ramp, but this time you're landing on a giant airbag. And the difference between the airbag and the pool is the pool you're landing flat, and the airbag you're landing at an angle. What it's more likely going to be coming into the snow, right? And then from there, you're jumping off of a snow ramp into a giant airbag. And these airbags are 50 feet by 50 feet, 2 or 3 yards tall. It can be forgiving, it can be soft, but for the most part, this is all pretty rigorous on the body, no question.
And you're doing this by yourself, or there's like 10 of you all repping it out? Like, what's the vibe when you're doing this training?
It depends on the location of the training. For the most part, the rollerblading and the trampoline, I'm by myself. I don't
Okay.
like anyone to be around. I have my music playing, got the speaker going. It's warm outside. I'm enjoying. I always loved training. I loved it the most. It was
Well, I
the
think
most.
that, not to
No, no, no. Please.
project on you my view, but like, as you said, like, you grew up middle of the pack. I feel like it's your focus and love for the training and the ability to go the extra mile and be patient with it. You're saying like 1,000 reps, like 500 reps. Some people would be like, 2 reps, I didn't get it. Even someone that might be better naturally, but they don't have the dedication to it. I feel like that's a big part of your superpower, is like the patience to allow yourself to get to the place of excellence.
Certainly, and for you as well, it's this idea of delayed gratification. You work really hard for something, and when you're initially looking at the work from the 1,000-foot view out, you say, "Wow, that's a lot. I don't know." But you have to be ignorance is bliss. Like, I didn't know it was gonna take all that work. I just started slowly chipping away, right?
That's right.
And by the time I know it, I'm I'm still chipping 2 decades later, and, yeah, so it was all these different mechanisms that just led up to the perfection, or to the ability to do some of these tricks and then put them all together in a run. Like, there
Yeah.
was always when you're doing these trainings, you're focusing on one trick at a time, right? Or I am. most
Yeah.
of the time. You still gotta do 5 in order to make
So
a
those
complete
5
run.
major tricks as far as part of your final run where you won the Olympic gold, each of those 5 tricks, you're going through this process
Yes.
to get to a place where you're comfortable performing at the highest level because 'cause they're
Some tr
different. They're different tricks.
all different. Some tricks took me some I got quickly, some took me 6 months. The 4th trick, the switch left side double cork 1080, took me 5 years.
Wow.
Like, I started the slow there's a small ramp at AVSC. It's a little rollerblade ramp with skate light on it. Skate light is a thin wood material that's very smooth.
Yeah,
Just to be able to go down the ramp, switch unnatural, so that's backwards left, which is my unnatural way. It took me 1,500 reps just of pumping the transition before I went down the jump off onto the airbag. So it took me
incredible.
training on the training mechanism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's patience. I mean, that's a long road to get to where you got. And then the other side of it is, you can tell me if this is the case or not, but I would imagine there are people who put in the time, put in the effort, put in the training, get it, and then when it comes to performing at the highest level in the moment, actually doing it when all the pressure's on, I'm sure there are people that can't get it done at that point, right? So you were able to, obviously based on results, like put it in, have it in your back pocket. But then when the green light hits and you got to do it on the Olympic gold run, like you got to be ready to hit it.
Absolutely. It took me 2 years to figure out how to land runs. I could land individual tricks, but to put the whole shebang together is a totally different story, and as you say, a lot of people can't do it. It might take you a decade to land a good run.
What's similar, as you said in business, it translates over. It's like, you can do it and you kind of build up muscle memory over time, but when it's at the height, when it needs to happen, when it's the most important, can you focus and get it done under pressure?
Exactly. We were talking about it a lot off camera. You have to be able to execute, right? That is the main thing. Knowledge is power, of course, but if you cannot execute on said knowledge, it's not it's not everything. It's not even close. And a lot of people, they'll get to these big events, right? The Olympics being the biggest one, and they will see the Olympic logo and they'll see a different color bannering comparatively to the other events that they've competed in. And they'll be like, oh shit, it's the Olympics. I saw the logo and the banner and I would say it's just a different logo and it's just a different color. There's still going to be a contest on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. Do I have my shit together or not?
Let's dig into that a little bit because I was also super intrigued. You and I both have different versions of like a meditation or kind of a
Mm,
focused practice that we use. For me, I get up early in the morning, I do a workout, I do my meditation. I kind of just need that for my own personal. I do
same.
the sauna, kind of cold plunge, whatever I can do to just get myself where I need to be to perform at the highest level. In my case, on business. Um, Something you and I talked about was in your particular single person sport, you're able to like sit in the sauna or steam room and like go through the reps and like really dial it in. Um, let's talk a little bit about the mental side of the practice alongside the physical and like how big of an impact that's been for you on your success.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you, I would say the mental aspect is probably 90 to 95% of it. It might not equate to that in time given to it, but as you said, I go to the steam room or the sauna every single day, and 5 days of the week, I'm not just sitting in there, I am going through my run, saying it, visualizing it to a T. And it's not just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do the switch right double 10 here and then the left side double 16. It's like, okay, I set the stage and I go into the dark steam room, I lay down, I have the towels laid out perfectly, and I'll visualize the place first. And we have contests all over the world, right? So for the Olympic one, I was visualizing this for multiple years leading up to it. But I would visualize myself in Livigno. I went to Livigno, which is the region in Italy, the town in Italy where we had the Olympics. I went there multiple times before to see the lay of the land, to see
I
the
l
angles of the sun coming down,
I
to
love
see
that.
the landscape.
I love that. It's so
I
important for me to have prep on specifically where I'm gonna do the thing. The first
Huge.
time is always hard. You're not prepared, it's unusual, you're not ready. If you can be there and get into it and really see it and experience it, that's genius that you went over in advance. I love that.
Thank you. Huge, huge, huge. I
That's
needed
just you. You're like, "I gotta do it."
I got it. It wasn't even just me, it was my coach too, like, she had the
Awesome.
forethought of, "Hey, we have a day off today." It was during World Champs, and we're near in a place called St. Moritz, Switzerland. She's like, "We should drive over to Livigno and have lunch." And she's nonchalant
Yes.
about it, but she knows what she's saying.
Yeah, she
It's
knows
almost
you.
like yeah,
Yeah.
she knows me well. Not trying to trick me, but she knows we should go over there and see. And it was huge. That wasn't the first time, that was the second time. But regardless, there was a couple year break there. So, yeah, first of all, I wouldn't have made it anywhere I am without Ilana and the rest of my team. Like, they were so, so smart, thinking of all these different things that I had never thought of. But back to the visualization. So I would visualize myself, I would go to the place, and then I would see myself in this place. I would have a strong base of what I was looking at. And then I would start to visualize myself in all different conditions. I would visualize it really windy. I would visualize it really sunny. I'd visualize it at night. I'd visualize it during the day. I'd visualize it snowing. I'd visualize it when it was extremely fast, when it was extremely slow, all different types. I would visualize it, oh, my skis broke the night before and my backups in worst case scenario.
And this is just to be precise, this is when you're in, like, the steam room doing the thing, or this is separate?
This is when I'm in the steam room doing the thing
Got
and
it.
I'm laying there and I'm telling
You've
myself,
literally experienced it in all weather conditions and all the shitstorm that could come at you. You're like, "It's fine. I've got it. I've already seen it."
exactly. Seen it not just once, thousands of times.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands for each different condition. And then I'll go through it 3 times through. I'll go through my run number 1. Then I'll add run number 2. Then I'll add again on run number 3. And when I say add, I'll change one trick and I'll add another rotation into it or a harder grab or whatever it is. And yeah, it was just this constant, okay, I'm gonna do the switch double cork 1080 here, have a great pop, perfect transition, takeoff, land high on it, good, carrying a lot of speed for the big left side double cork 1620 lead tail, high on that transition, no movement in between, carrying a lot of speed for the big right side double cork 1080 Japan, perfect, land high on that transition, arms down, no movement in between, carrying a lot of speed for the big switch left side double cork 1080 safety to Japan. Don't pop too hard on that trick. Make sure that you land perfectly because you're carrying a lot of speed into the big right side double cork 1620 lead tail there at the end. And that's exactly what I would tell myself. And there are other things to get me into that mode. I call it the chow zone. My nickname is Chow. Like into the chow zone, locking in. And yeah, it was such an important piece because when I got to all these events, I wasn't shitting bricks looking over, "Oh, it's the
I
Olympics.
love that. I'm
It's a
obsessed
big
with that.
deal."
And then is that unusual? Are most athletes in your sport doing something like this, or is it pretty unusual?
It is usual for the best people to be doing it is what I have found because 'cause I've become friends with the snowboarders, the men, the women, the different, sports, slopestyle, big air, and half pipe, and I ask everyone because 'cause I'm just curious in nature. I wanna know, "Hey, Scotty
Yeah.
James, you're the best half pipe snowboarder of all time or one of. Are you visualizing?" And he would say, "Yeah, I'm visualizing in the morning." I'm like, "How many runs through?" He goes, "Usually 2, but it'll take me about 30 minutes. I do 3, it takes me 10 minutes." So I would just learn and ask from everyone, and most of the time, the best guys and gals are visualizing a lot.
Well, I think the obvious parallel there that I love is, well, first of all, I'm very much into visualization, manifestation as well. I think there's a lot there. I spend a little bit of time every day focused on that. It's been a huge unlock for me. But I think people from outside in that see people that are successful in sports, such as yourself, or successful in business, they assume it's like, oh, that guy he was born with more talent, or oh, that guy got lucky. Look, he's running this big business, he got lucky. Like Steve Jobs, people remember him for his presentation, for his speaking ability. He would literally rep that, to your point, hundreds of times. It's not like he's walking out and he's just a naturally great speaker with like the right content. In his own way, he's calibrating that same thing. I walk out, there's bright lights, there's not bright, like all of it, right? So I feel like the more prepared people can be to put in the work to do the thing to visualize, you have to know what you're going for
Mm,
first. But what I love about your sport, and we'll talk a little bit later before we wrap about, your transition now into business, but it's an individual sport. It's not like you're playing tennis and you're kind of playing doubles and your partner an off day and it screws everything up. It's like at least you're controlling your own destiny. It's good and bad. You don't get
for
any
sure.
help, but you don't get any downside. And so the ability to like directly dial that in and visualize and manifest it is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. It's as you know very well, once you start visualizing, it really is a superpower, and it's you emitting a frequency, something that you really want or think you can do, and the universe bouncing it back. I look at it just same as radio. I look at it like radio. I'm Radiohead in there, just emitting positivity, positive frequencies, and hopefully bringing them back. And then it works. Once you see that it works, for me, with many competitions, but mainly the Olympics, it's like, holy shit, why haven't I been doing this since I was 10 years old? Why aren't they teaching this in school?
Yeah,
This
I'm
needs to be
100% with you.
well known. And
People
then
don't
you
know about
couple
it. They
that
don't talk about it. Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead, sir.
exactly, and then you couple that with the affirmations, and it's game over.
Yep. Um, so you said you're 31.
Yep.
So it's kind of shocking that you're like at 31. It sounds like you're not going to go for another Olympics. Like, how do you
That was
think through
the final one.
age and et cetera? Had you not won gold, was it still going to be your final one? Because you're a young guy. What Tom Brady played until he was what 44 something. He pushed it pretty late. Like in your sport, are you looked at as the kind of the older guy? Like that's the cap, or is it just for you personally? You're going to call it because you got out of it what you want and you want to move on.
It's probably a little bit of both. Our sport is a little bit different. You could equate it closer to hockey and football, but at the same time, we're falling from heights onto pure ice all the time. So the impact is just unbelievably brutal on the body. And like I was saying, some of these training mechanisms, the airbag in particular, it's a great way to learn, but it is not the nicest way to learn. It certainly hurts. Like I wake up many a days after the airbag and I can't turn my neck to the left, right? So I think for the most part, I am the old guy. I'm third oldest on our tour. Someone said it the other day. I was at a speaking event and they were like, "Oh, you're kind of the grandpa, apparently." And they were
It's
right.
amazing.
Like I am the grandpa. And
It's
there
incredible.
is another aspect to it of I have gotten everything that I've wanted out of the sport. It is time to open the door for some of those younger athletes to have their time as well.
Yeah.
It's not just about me, it's about, hey, I came into the sport and the older guys left and then now I'm at the top of the sport and now I'm leaving and then it's the cycle of life. It's just very, very natural.
Well, I guess again, I'm projecting here, but it would feel like because you competed in what 3 Olympic Games?
Yep, 2018 silver, 2022 bronze, 2026 gold.
Feels good to say gold at the end, doesn't
It feels amazing. Third time's a charm, man.
it? But you were physically obviously younger in 2018, recovering better, younger, but you probably weren't as mentally focused as you are today, right?
Correct.
So when you look back at those 3, does it make sense that that's how it arced for you?
It does. It makes
Also,
sense. Every
tell everyone a little bit, regardless of what games, and you could tell us where and when, but, like, most people haven't been to the Olympics, haven't like, what's it like to go and experience and be at the Olympics and, like, do the thing? It's gotta be unbelievable.
It's extremely special, and I feel very honored to go and represent not only my country, but my state and my city, my town. Huge, huge, huge experience, and people coming up to me all the time saying, "Thank you for representing America in the most positive light." So, very, very awesome experience. Going to the Olympics, really cool. I got to be with a lot of my best friends. One best friend in particular, Tornator Wallace, I grew up with him, and we went to my first games together in
Okay.
2018. And
What's
before
his
we're
sport?
dropping it
What's he
sorry,
compete on? What's his
he same
sport?
same half
Same
pipes.
thing. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
he's since retired. But yeah, it was such a special experience. I get to hug my best friend and him me before dropping into an Olympic final. I don't think a lot of people get to do that. Super, super special. And then I've been extremely blessed by going to I've never been to Olympics and not worn the Nike podium kit. You know what I'm saying? It's been very generous to me.
That's pretty, I mean, that's unusual.
It's
Even at the
extremely
highest level, you
unusual
could be the best of the best and the projected winner and not podium. That happens all the time, right? For
all
you
the
to go
time.
3 for 3 podium is pretty unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And then what's even crazier about it is, you know, bronze, silver, gold. It wasn't in that order, but I've seen every face of the podium. And that is just extremely rare. Like the stars had to align, the universe had to spin my way. So much stuff had to go right. And a million times over, I didn't think it was going to go right. But I
Yeah,
just kept saying the affirmations, kept doing the visualizations, kept going to training every single day, aka just being really, really consistent.
yeah, yeah, dialed in. Um, and so I guess when you're actually competing at the highest level on that stage with the Olympics, not all the runs are going to be the perfect runs, right? Do you know in advance, like, I am going to fall? Like, how does it feel when you're going? Like, I just threw a bad pass, but like in this sport, I assume there's a level of precision where if something's a little bit off, you're kind of ahead of this is not going to go well, right? And then there's degrees of how bad it's going to go, and there's some risk. How do you calibrate that in real time?
That's a phenomenal question. And the simplest answer I can give is the best takeoffs lead to the best landings. So most of the time, if you're not taking off perfectly, aka straight body, we say lifting ourselves into space. If you're not doing that, you will have a bad landing. And if you have a bad landing, you will be in pain. And I've had many of bad landings. We're talking about a game of inches here between winning and or going to the hospital. And I've seen both ends of that spectrum, and it's just kind of a lot of it is I know exactly what I'm going to do in every run, but when something goes off or I need to pull an audible, which I have in the past, very rarely, I've seen it go well and I've seen it not go well. Like, it really just comes down to the moment, how you're feeling, and a lot of it is belief. Just this unwavering belief that everything's gonna be okay, even when I did make a mistake, right?
Yeah,
And sometimes you make a mistake and nothing bad happens, you just touch your hand, but your run is still over, right? No physical harm has been done.
but you know
But
it's done.
yeah, exactly. I've had a takeoff where I missed the takeoff and I land directly on my right thigh, and I thought I broke my leg.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, "Oh my god, I can never let that happen again because I'm in so much pain and just
yeah.
you can't let that happen again, man."
Yeah, the precision level is insane. I mean, do you kind of going back to the team sport and individual sport for you? I mean, does it get lonely kind of training and doing the individual sport thing? Like, I guess on a sport, if you're playing basketball or baseball, you're at least always around the people, and there's that downside of like you can't control it. But with the amount of reps and the amount of time and work you put in, I could see that being great if you like that solo time, or I could see it being lonely if you're not, about that. So, how does it land for you?
Yeah, it's originally so our team headquarters, the US ski team headquarters is in Park City, Utah. And many of the athletes and many different disciplines, men and women, all live in Park City. And so everyone sees each other at the gym. They see each other at the Utah Olympic Park, which is where the water ramps and the airbag are. They see each other at Woodward, which is where the rollerblading ramp is, right? It's definitely a collective there. For me, I just didn't love Utah. So I was saying, I love Aspen. I love my hometown. I have to figure out a way to make it work here, to make
Got
all
it.
the
So you
training
don't
work.
have to be isolated somewhere else.
Exactly. So I was around some athletes because there are some athletes coming up, but for the most part, as you said, it is an individual sport, and I have spent thousands of hours alone. It is very lonely, especially at the top. because not only are you training alone at home, then you're traveling to the competitions and you're not hanging out with everyone. I
Yep.
love everyone on tour, but I'm not calling them, "Hey, do you wanna go do this, this, and this?" because I have such a strict regimen and I don't actually have the time. It sounds arrogant, it's not that, it's literally it comes down to minutes and seconds.
Well, I think something that's like a precise version of it, but you and I talked a little bit about, for me, my arc was a little bit different in the sense that I did a more traditional job and then I worked for a family office and then I ended up going and doing my own thing. Both the family office and doing my own thing, you are actively saying no to a lot of days and a lot of weekends and a lot of nights out. It's not that you don't want to see your friends, but there's practically not the time if you want to be focused. And so you have to make those trade offs in real time. I think that's just another point to emphasize is like, it very, very rarely, and I don't know of any cases that I could point to that it like works both ways, where it's just like you thread the needle perfectly and you're out every night and then you're crushing it. Like it doesn't, you might not see it, you might not talk about it, but it doesn't really happen without putting in the time and the effort and the work,
Maybe a
business
DJ.
or sport. Maybe a DJ, yeah, if you could pick the right, but then you probably got to sleep all day. There's got to be downsides there too.
Yep,
Exactly.
yeah.
Um, One of the things that I want to make sure makes the pod is I was laughing. I was watching this morning when we were in Aspen and, you were just ripping backflips, like, on Ajax, right? I think we were
Yeah,
at Ajax, right? And
yeah.
people from on the chairlift are like, "What's going on? Like, who is this?" Uh, that was incredible. We'll patch that in. Before we get to kind of you transitioning, I wanna talk a little bit about what you're focused on, what you wanna get into, and then we're gonna have hopefully a follow-up episode here where we come on and bring you on as a co-host, which I'm excited for. Um, just the finality of it, like, is obviously at the end of the day, it's your call. You're like, "I'm done, I'm moving on." I'm sure there are people in your world that are like, "You gotta do another one. I think you have another gold in you. Why wouldn't you?" Whether that's your coach, your parents, like whoever, could be anybody. Um, is it just instinctual for you that you know you're done, it's time to move on? Are people trying to push you to do it one more time? Like, how did you make that final decision? It's gotta be tough to leave at the top. You're not leaving, like, after having gold and then, like, oh, you just got a bronze and maybe, like, you're leaving after punching the gold. So if you just stayed healthy and did the same thing, maybe tweak it a little bit, you could hit another gold.
Anything's possible. I'm a firm believer in that, and I appreciate everyone who has that much conviction in me to do well. It's very, very flattering. I too have conviction, and I wouldn't say I'm fully retiring. I'm definitely that was my last Olympics. I may do a few more events here and there, but at the same time, it's as you said, I've
And when you say that's my last Olympics, are you making decisions that you're shutting things down whereby you couldn't just decide to go if you wanted to in 4 years? Like, how does that work?
I'm not making decisions thereby shutting things down. I'm just not training as much. I'm not doing what I know what it takes to really do it.
Got it. You're not
And
dialed in. You're not like tracking for that next one.
yeah, and there becomes a point where I'm the most competitive person that I know. If I don't feel like I can win, I kind of feel like I'm wasting my time. And that's being respectful to me. That's being respectful to the rest of the field. You guys are the future. You guys and girls you're steering this boat. You know where you're going. And now it's time for me to jump in other ways, and I just feel that deep in my soul. Like, I wanna do some more announcing, I wanna do some broadcasting, I wanna be there for just I wanna watch, I wanna be a fan.
Yep.
It's
And now
easier
are
for
you?
me to step away now that I have every color, especially the Olympic gold. Like, that is our Super Bowl now.
Yeah, because if you didn't have that, you'd be like, "Oh, I really think if I did one more, I could get it." Now that you got it, it's like, you did it. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, and there is a lot of a risk associated there's still no matter how much you train, there is still risk associated with our sport.
Sure.
It's not like I could just go out there and remember my training and do everything perfectly again. I would have to get back into serious shape and,
Well, I
you
wasn't
know
talking to you about this, but I was talking to ended up being my ski instructor, when we were out at Aspen, but we were talking about Lindsey Vonn
Mm,
and talking about her Olympic experience, and obviously one of the greatest and one of the best, and he was showing me some of the runs that we were on that are, like, so incredibly steep, and he was like, "You don't
crazy.
understand, it's like this, but it's sheer ice," and it's just like and so, someone like that who pushed it and maybe, did I don't know if you'd say one too many, but, like, pushed it and, ultimately had a pretty catastrophic injury, like, that's the potential downside of going in that direction
Yeah, and also on top of that, I'm a huge fan of Lindsay, by the way. I think
as well. I think she's great.
her being able to come back is unbelievable, super, super impressive. But, Lindsay now it's different for her in her position because Lindsay has millions of followers on Instagram. She's huge in the business world, in the world period. She's able to take a crash like that and still have the nice house and, like, it hurts a little bit less
Yeah,
for
she's
her.
established enough on the other
Yeah,
side.
exactly, and then someone like me or someone who's a bit lower level, not probably in, like, the financial realm.
Yep,
It's like if you ate shit and then you didn't do well and you came back and everything, like, it could really affect differently for different
sure.
people is where my mind goes.
I guess what I don't understand, and I'll ask you, is she tore her meniscus in the trial runs,
She tore her ACL in a World
ACL,
Cup event race a week or 2 weeks before.
and still decided to take the run and compete. How does that happen? Wouldn't it just be, "Look, I'm not 100. You gotta be 100 to do this." Like, why would you hit go on competing when you know you have, like, a severe disadvantage going in?
I can't fully speak for her, but from speculation, she's older. She knows it definitely could be the last one,
This
the
is it.
really
Gotta do
last
it anyway. Yeah, I'm a little bit hurt, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, and, those women alpiners, they're competitive. I've sat on the plane with them. I've talked, I've chatted up with them. Don't get in their way. They'll fuck you up.
So she's like, "Don't worry about it. I'm doing it. Get out of my way." And then, yeah, it's so tough. I mean, those are such treacherous runs that they have. It's insane. Awesome. Okay. Well, I want to transition. I know we talked a little bit about it. We're probably going to have a whole nother episode on this, which I'm excited about. But, what are you getting into? What do you want to get into business wise? Like, what are you thinking as far as transition? Like, have you had any? I'm sure you have peers and mentors that have made that transition or are making it now that you're working with or chatting with, but I'd love to hear more about, how you're thinking about it.
Yeah, certainly. And as I was saying before, this isn't the NFL, this isn't the NBA where you get these massive contracts. And even if your career doesn't go well, you still got the dough and you can start a family and whatever. And it's all good, right? This isn't just all fairy tales and rainbows. Our reality being an action sports athlete and being in a smaller sport is a bit different. Um, so for me moving forward, I do this thing where I dress up like an old man and I mess with people on the ski slopes.
Yeah, I love
It's a skit, it's a
that.
gimmick
As you're doing the backflips, they're like,
as
"What
I'm
the
doing
fuck?"
the flips and tricks, and that's called hot dog cons. So that's part of the business and that's part of the
Nice.
transition as well. We
Was that
monetize
just
on
something one day you were like, it hit or it's spot you're like, how did that start?
a friend came to me and showed me some of the Uncle Drew videos with Kyrie Irving and Pepsi, and they had originally done it in basketball. Kyrie Irving dresses up like Uncle Drew, old man, and then he's doing 360 dunks on people. And he
Yeah.
said, "Hey, we should do this for skiing. It'll be great clickbait." And then within the first 15 minutes of actually being in character, we realized this is so much more than just clickbait. This is something awesome and
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
and amazing. And it was right around COVID. So
Okay.
then our main objective just became everyone's going through a very difficult time. We need to bring some levity to the situation and make people laugh. And that's how I got into the comedy slash humor slash acting business, I guess.
I love that. It's a good time. Listen, if you can get good content, the content goes viral. There's a lot of ways to monetize it. obviously for you, it's just a hilarious thing because you could be doing these insane, jumps and etcetera, and people are like, "What?" And then they see the old man. It tracks. Well, that's awesome, and I think, you and I have talked about other areas of business and investing and etcetera. We're gonna spend a lot more time, um, and I'll continue to work with you in any way that's helpful there, as you transition. But look, I think the key from my perspective is, again, back to run rate and why I do this pod. I just love meeting, talking, spending time with epic people, right? It comes in all shapes and sizes, but like there is some sort of genetic advantage or genetic defect, however you want to look at it, for people that are really focused and driven and willing to put in the time and the effort and the work. And so when I look at you, all that time and effort and work that track toward the pinnacle of success on the Olympic stage, it's the same thing. And then it's just figuring out, which is a little bit more broad, like what exactly do I want that to be on the business side? And then, I have no doubt you're going to get that done.
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate that deeply, and I hope we get to continue to work together and or me learn from you because 'cause you're wicked smart.
I appreciate that,
And you're
brother.
also really cool, and we do think very similarly. Out of the
Yeah.
pod, we were talking a lot and just really connecting, some hitting those grand slams, so
A lot of
I
people
couldn't
don't
agree
really get
more.
into the visualization, manifestation stuff. It's kind of different. You and I vibe on that. I think you and I
Mhm.
vibe on just, growing up without any inherent advantage and just hustling and figuring it out and having, some level of success. And so, 100%. What I do want to get into that we always do on Run Rate before we end up wrapping is we like to do a rapid fire where it's just like boom, boom, boom questions. So answer kind of like rapid fire answers, whatever comes top of your mind. Um,
Okay.
and so when you're ready, we'll kick it off. You ready? This is like
Alright.
you're at the top of the Olympic, you're at the top of the half pipe, you're about to tuck in. If you want to like say some things to yourself or like script through, it might be tough. We'll see what we hit you with here.
Okay.
Um, Okay, not gonna be too tough to start, but I think I know what this might be. Best run of your life.
Oh, it is the Olympic run. As far as actual technicality goes, that was the
So
best
that
run I've.
was like, not like you got screwed another time or someone was better another time, like, that was the best run you've ever done at that level.
It was the best run I've ever done, the best executed run I've ever done. Yes.
Amazing. And what was the worst run?
Oh, well, I've never been asked that. The worst run is 2024. No, sorry, yeah, 2025 X Games, late January. I was just not proud of what I did, and I ended up still getting 2nd place, but I didn't even usually when I land a good run, I go home and I watch the run 100 times. "Oh, I coulda done this better," and then I watch it the next day and I evaluate again. This time, I didn't even watch the run. I was like, "That is just unacceptable for me."
Got it. Alright. Um, did you know, like, fully know, in the way that we were talking about, did you fully know that you were gonna win gold?
No.
You didn't have it, like, in your soul, in your essence, you're like, "Gold is happening." Maybe, like, there's a distinction between manifesting, visualizing, and, like, knowing, but, like, was it, like, a surprise and you're like, "Wow, it actually happened," or you're like, "No, I knew it was gonna happen?"
About 3 years leading up into the games, I was so certain I was gonna win, it was insane. And then the 6 months right before the Olympics, I started having knee pain. My competitors were doing tricks that had never been done before. I'm talking crazy shit, Kyle, like mind expanding things that have never been done by humans before. They're younger, they're nipping at my heels, they're going huge. I just thought I missed it. I missed it by about a year. Like, what a bummer. Um, but I kept doing the visualizations and the affirmations. I am the 2026 Olympic gold medalist. I kept doing the training sessions, but I just thought it was a bit more of a long shot than a reality.
Got it. So when it finally came to it, you were a little bit surprised. You're like, "Wow, I
I
did
was
it."
shocked. I thought
Yeah.
the screen on the jumbotron was wrong. I thought they got the numbers mixed up.
I love that. If there's a simple way to describe it, what separates gold from silver?
Final settlement, same thing in a monetary standpoint. Gold is final settlement, and it only happens every 4 years, so there's a lot of weight to that, literally and metaphorically. The metal is heavy.
I felt it. It was actually incredibly, unbelievably heavy. Next one up. What's one habit that gives you an edge?
I could say the visualizations, the affirmations, or you could pick a characteristic, which would be consistency.
Yeah, totally. Um,
Actually, you know what it really is? It's being able to deal with the monotony.
yeah, just the routine, just nailing it day in, day out, just going
Most
at it.
people, especially athletes, they can't handle the monotony, and I understand.
Do you actually perform better under pressure?
Yes, no question.
Yep, thought that.
Pressure is privilege. One of my teammates told me that.
I know it's going through your head before you're kind of scripting it. What's going through your head when you're midair?
Midair, usually not much. I script it before I go, and then as I'm in the pipe, the only thing that's in my mind is the next thing in front of me. It's
Love it. You just got to be present.
yeah, it's due time. It's just due time. Just do it. Don't think about it.
Harder for you or harder in general, training or competing?
Competing harder for me, harder in general, probably both.
Competing. Like you can train, but you got to get out there. You got to do it. The competing.
Competing's harder because there is someone there saying, "Hey, now is your time." Like,
Yeah.
drop in, go.
Yeah. It's go time. Ding, ding, ding. What's the biggest fear that you've had to overcome?
The biggest fear is staying alive, overcoming death every single competition. And I literally thought about it like that. Okay, I would tell myself a lot, Alex, stay alive tonight because
You know, if
there's
you actually really, really go off the rails, like there's a possibility. I mean, it's
we've
that.
had people die. We have had people in our sport pass away.
Yeah.
It is no joke.
Wow. It's heavy, man. Um, Last one up, which transitions us. If you had never been or were not skiing, what do you think you'd be doing? Like, what's the alternate universe track look like for you?
If my parents never moved from New Jersey to Colorado to Aspen when I was a kid, I think about that a lot. I would like to think that I would be doing soccer in some professional way, and if not, hopefully I'd be more on my entrepreneurial path like you, but hard to say.
Yeah, it's wild to
Anything
think
could
about
happen.
that.
Nature versus nurture, like I could be a drug addict. I have no idea.
Yeah, it'd be wild if in that parallel world you got an Olympic gold on soccer somehow. It came in a different way.
That would be awesome. I love the team sports as well. I just
Yeah.
wasn't apt.
Awesome. This is so much fun. We're going to line up and get you on another episode as a co-host. We're still working it out. We have some ideas. Some of the ideas I'm going to talk about with you off camera, I think are pretty awesome for as far as who that guest would be. So we'll chat about that offline. But great to see you. Appreciate you coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Kyle, I can't thank you enough for the platform. You're a great interviewer, and I had a really wonderful time. To many more.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Appreciate you. Thank you.